Hello, welcome. My name is Danielle Gaudette, and this is my now monthly Emotional Healing Live, where I share insights mostly from my own life experience, my practice, my study with myself, and energetic and spiritual principles, as well as my experience with so many students and clients over the past 25 years. So thank you for coming. I know there's been a bit of a change, new year, new rhythm, new me, but I'm very happy to be here with you. Hello, welcome, Caitlin. And today we're going to talk about feeling safe. So this is a really interesting and I find difficult subject to talk about. And then I was sort of laughing to myself like, well, why did you pick it? And at the time that I chose it, I was researching some things and having conversations with ChatGPT, and it kept bringing up this term inner safety. And I was like, what is inner safety? How would you even define that? And then it got me into this deep, reflective, contemplating place about safety. And of course, the world as it is today, and when we look and see and just take the pulse on what people are feeling and experiencing, I think feeling safe, it's a good time to talk about feeling safe, or it could be a time where it may be relevant, I suppose is what I was thinking when I decided to bring this up. And the reason why it's so challenging is because I think this is like a deep, deep study for all of us. And personally, this is like feeling not safe is kind of the impetus of my entire emotional healing journey, my spiritual growth journey. Feeling not safe was the catalyst for all of that and was the driver. And it still is. So I say to you sometimes here that when I'm processing something, that's not really the time where I like to share insights. It's more when I kind of get on the other side and I have all kinds of clarity and aha moments and so many things come together. I like to share them for other people who are working on their emotional and spiritual well-being, in the case that it could be supportive for anybody else's journey, so that we don't, we can take the edge off of feeling completely alone. Hi, Amy. Welcome. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. All of you are very dear to me and you make me smile. So thank you for that. And this topic, okay, Amy's saying I love the topic. Yeah, it's a really deep topic. We could talk and explore and dig. So as I said, it was really the impetus for my journey. I think I've been feeling unsafe. In my current step, like where I am with my current sort of healing process, I think I've been feeling unsafe in this body, in this world, like since I was born. Personally, I can kind of keep tracing it back and back and back, but definitely it became very conscious to me from the time that I was a little girl, and just sort of got worse from the time of being, 6, 7, 8 years old until through college. And the more I learned about the world, the more I felt unsafe. I already felt unsafe. And then I felt more and more and more unsafe. And it's not really that important to explore where or why or how. For me, there's like just a perfect storm for me that would lead me to feeling unsafe, related to having relinquishment trauma, being given up for adoption. That's a real thing. The separation of the baby and the birth mother is a real trauma, and then exacerbated by, growing up with experiencing mental illness in my mother who adopted me, who I adored, is still adore. She passed away, but that was really painful to watch. And so all of those things created a lack of feeling safe. And then I'm like launched out into the world, and the world looks so unsafe to me. And in some ways, it's really interesting to me, because now the way that people are feeling and reacting to like the state of affairs out there, I feel like people are catching up to what I was feeling and thinking from the time that I was, a teenager, 20, in my early 20s, my late teens, early 20s. So it's been a long journey with feeling unsafe. You may resonate with this. I had a student once say, like, with every single cell of his body, he felt unsafe. He was aware of that. He was a fellow adopted person. He could really resonate with that. So you may resonate with that as well. And it's a tough one to crack, really, because, so what I can just share with you are my awarenesses from my painful journey, really. And the awarenesses I want to share is, we kind of have to zoom way out and recognize like this sort of the system here, like the design. So we are human beings where we've got a body, but we're not that body, right? We're something far greater. We came from source, we'll return to source. We are part of life with a capital L, life itself. But we are here in this lifetime in a body. And that body will not live forever. And that body comes with an ego. That's part of the system. That's part of the design. And when we leave this world, our body leaves, the emotions leave, and the ego leaves this world. We essentially go on, but this is a very finite system here that we're existing in. So the ego's role is to constantly try to keep us alive, surviving. It has to have that function. Otherwise, we might just walk out in front of a car. We will not have any alert system for when there's danger. Why we have such a strong alert system? Because there's something in us trying to keep us alive, surviving. It's like the body, the ego knows it's not going to live forever. So it has to watch out and be aware and take care. And so when we see things that make us feel unsafe, it's very triggering to that part of ourselves. When you feel within yourself very deeply, you will find, I talked in a previous live about, we have a big little me inside. That little me, that's the ego self, right? That's the self that's like, this is who I am, and I'm not safe, and I have to protect myself, and it's not okay. And it's constantly trying to protect itself, both physically and emotionally. So when we sense, dangers outside, it's really triggering that sense of safety. And we can become like very unraveled from that. And here's the thing. If we're not aware of it, it's totally chaos then. Like if we are not aware of this little me that always wants to be safe, then it's like just sort of driving driving the car that is me. And so we're in a constant state of reaction. And the nervous system is activated as if we really were being chased by a tiger, or, having to get out of the house because it was on fire. Like, the nervous system is reacting that way. It really doesn't know the difference between, I saw this thing on the news, I read this article, and now I don't feel safe. Or this person behaved this way to me, and it made me feel unsafe. And the nervous system is reacting the same way, even though obviously we're not being chased by a tiger. So we have to become aware that something inside of us always feels unsafe, because we kind of are not safe, meaning this system, this body, this ego, it will not last forever. So it's screaming a lot, unsafe, 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 unsafe. And then when you put that in an even bigger picture, collectively, everyone is doing that. All right, so let me just say, most people are doing that. And so then it's like feeding into the collective consciousness, and it's just like growing bigger and bigger. And then the outer world looks more and more unsafe, perhaps becomes more and more unsafe. And the inner world and outer world are like doing this dance. And it's just sort of this unhealthy cycle. So what can shift this? Welcome, Patricia. Hello. I'm checking comments once in a while here. The shift comes through self-awareness, really. That's it. Just awareness. Recognizing that this is going on inside of us, and being able to, hold that self lovingly and gently, and understanding that this is sort of the design. And I know that sounds like too easy to be true. It's not that easy. It's actually not that easy to do. Why? Because whenever we bring the mind in, the feeling is so uncomfortable and so scary, frightening, and there's the alert, like, not good, don't like it, not safe for me. Not only physically, but now I'm also talking emotionally. As a self, the self feels threatened. So we just pop right back out again. And we have a really hard time just holding that part of us that is designed to keep us alive, that feels unsafe. It's just a part of us. It's not who we are. So the only way out is to go through to the other side of that and remember who I really am. Realigning and reconnecting with the essence of me. The me that's not finite, so therefore it doesn't ever feel unsafe. That feeling cannot exist there, because it's just is. It's just beingness. It's just life itself. Very hard to put words to it, but I hope you understand what I mean. So that essence, that self, who we truly are, it's never threatened. It cannot feel unsafe. But to really, lean into it and surrender to it is so hard, because that little me, and let's not blame the little me, its role, it has a purpose and a role to play, which is to keep us safe. That little me has to disappear, dissolve, to remember in remembering who I am. There will be a dissolving of who I am not. So that little me doesn't like it. That's death to it, even though the physical body is not threatened. That's death to that self. So it's a very challenging thing, um, to find true safety, which is what I'm interested in. Now, we can help each other to feel more safe in this world as best as we can, by holding safe spaces for each other emotionally and physically as best as we can. There are certain things we cannot control because this is the design. And I just again heard Eckhart Tolle say, the world is here to challenge you, not to make you feel comfortable, to challenge you. So if we're saying, why is this the design? I don't like this design. Believe me, I get it. And we can be in a huge state of resistance. We don't even know what we're resisting. We're just resisting, like, kind of the nature of it all. We don't like it. We don't like it. We want to be safe. I get it. But none of it is meant to make us feel comfortable. The whole design is to help us awaken to who we really are, to the true nature of it all, to see through the illusions of these feelings and these beliefs and these desires. Because you see, right, if we don't see through it, we keep creating it outside of ourselves. We keep manifesting it, like inside, like outside. That is very true. So what we see in the world today is just, human beings' inner worlds as an external manifestation. And our practice is to understand ourselves, again, not mentally, but through feeling, really. So I want to make sure that those of you who listen also take time to practice. And again, whatever way that practice, looks for you, everyone can have their own unique way. But the practicing is where the true ahas and the shifts come. To just be with yourself, to be with the parts of yourself that don't feel safe, and just be with them in the most loving and unconditional way. So this is what I'm talking about a lot in my Art of Self-Acceptance class, how we can hold that, actually practice to hold that unconditional space for the parts that don't feel safe. If you're like me, they may have been online since you were very young. And all those parts, who they need comfort from is us, the host of the parts. So finding safety in this world cannot really be our goal. And even blaming others for making us feel unsafe, well, it just doesn't really get us anywhere. The only thing I can do is go within me. That's within my power, and explore this lack of feeling safe, feeling, and how deep it is, how deeply rooted it is. Because it's what the ego is made of. And I don't say that to criticize the ego, it's the nature of the ego to keep us alive. It's really rooted down deep, 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 deep. So it feels like a small interaction makes us feel unsafe, but for whatever reason, whatever your life experience is, it's being triggered at the most deep level. The most deep level. So when we become aware of this, we can kind of hold it and watch it, right? Observe it. Be aware. I want to say, like, feel it without following it. Or I can feel the part of me that feels unsafe without following it, which means without like believing in it, what it's telling me or reacting even unconsciously to it, becoming more and more conscious and aware, then I can hold it. And then who's holding it? That is my essence. That is the vast and grand version of myself. So when I can hold it, I start to also wake that part of me up, give that part of me permission to come alive, to grow. So we can call this growth, inner growth. We can call this inner like maturation. I think this is the evolution of us. And so then when we feel that self, the nervous system calms down. We feel more ease in this body, in this environment, in this world. Of course, I'm not talking about if you are in a physically unsafe situation, the first and foremost thing that you want to do is try to move yourself to a more safe place as best as you can. I'm more talking about, and I'm just realizing now as I'm sharing this with you, this is why ChatGPT was using the word inner safety. I'm talking about an internal state here. An internal state, not an external state. Because this is all part of the inner journey. And I like this word exploration too, because this is like a terrain that we're not familiar with, but we're becoming familiar as we live life. And life is here to wake us up to it, to turn us inward. You know, that's the essential journey. So I hope that stimulates something for you or clears something. You're welcome to ask me any questions if you like. Again, this is a topic we could talk about forever. And then I want to make sure and clarify. So just as I'm saying, like, if you're in an externally unsafe environment, move yourself as best as you can to a safe environment if that's possible for you. I'm also saying, you know, if you're in an environment that's making you internally feel incredibly unsafe, you don't have to grin and bear it. You don't have to force your way through that, grit your teeth. You know what I'm trying to say here? You don't have to do that kind of push just because of this design that I'm talking about. You are, you know, that's an opportunity for you to move yourself perhaps to a space that makes you feel more internally safe, or give yourself time in the day to do the practice and do the work so you can have those moments where you can take a breath and feel that sense of safety inside. Even just for a moment makes a really big difference. It really is like taking a breath, coming up for air, and you can keep going. It gives you, you know, energy to keep going when we have those little moments. So you don't have to muster your way through anything. Find a time and place where you can explore this for yourself and bring yourself into a sense of feeling safer, right? So that's going to be the nervous system feels calmer. You feel more grounded within. You feel more present. In the present moment, we can feel that, you know, essence of ourselves. So the present moment is for sure a place where we feel safe in a way that we can never feel safe when we're just kind of in our physical body consciousness. We have to feel more than just our physical body consciousness. We have to feel ourselves as the energetic and spiritual beings, the beingness that we are, to find that that true safety. But again, we can, in this world, take a moment, find a place where we can find that feeling within, revisit, reconnect with that feeling within to give us a breath. So I hope that that's helpful for you. I'm always like kind of checking my notes. I often just, once I have a topic and I feel my heart and I feel your hearts, I just sort of, whatever comes through, I let it come through and trust that that is what the words that shift a perspective for you a little bit today. And please remember to practice. So whatever way that looks for you, it can be movement, it can be walking, it can be breath work, it can be meditation. I have my offerings, right? So there's EFT is a wonderful way to bring us there. Transformative art healing is a wonderful way to bring us there. Parts work is a wonderful way to bring us there. It's currently my favorite way because I experience a deep integration happening. And I feel like when we integrate with the parts that feel unsafe, it just changes our relationship with ourselves completely. And we start to feel very different about perhaps our previous reactions and our perspective on feeling unsafe. Like the whole perspective starts to change. It's like a paradigm shift within. Although all of the practices can bring you there, it's got to be the thing that resonates for you. So I do have, I'm offering now this live, as you know, once a month, and also a group session once a month for the first half of this year. I'm not sure yet completely beyond that, but I just dropped a link in the chat about the Transformative Art Healing is the next group session this Saturday. I'm also going to put that in the description below. Also in the description below, you can find, I have an emotional integration guided meditation. It's part of my Healing Your Relationship with Yourself 2-part video series. If you're on my mailing list, you're going to be receiving that tomorrow anyway. And if you're not on my mailing list, you can get on it through following that link. So if I have any practices that help you with your integrating, your actual, feeling this and experiencing this in your body, feel free to use them. That's what I want for you most of all. Just understanding it and not experiencing it, frankly, in my personal experience, it can cause a lot more suffering. So we need to always balance what the information we're learning and understanding with practicing it and actualizing it. If you're here with me, if you're interested in what I'm talking about, then I can say this is very important, this inner integration time. It's the most important thing you can do for you. And when the collective changes, we'll all become clear about this paradigm and we'll feel more safe in the world together. So I am getting an internet alert warning here, which is a great timing, perfect timing, internet. So I'm gonna finish here. And please share in the comments anything that resonated for you, any question, and like, subscribe, share, all those things that support the channel. I so appreciate all of your love and support. And I wish you well on your healing journey until we meet again next month. Thank you. Bye-bye.